Christine Persichetti. We're more than halfway through this season of Eastertide, the time between Easter and Pentecost when the Holy Spirit descended on Jesus' disciples. But tonight, we're remembering the reason behind the Easter season by looking at how one church observed the Passion of the Lord. For years, St. Matthew in Crown Heights has held a dramatization of the Stations of the Cross on Good Friday. And the pastor knew there was one man he could count on to bring Jesus' sacrifice to life. He is tonight's Pulse of the Parish. It's a place of tranquility amid the commotion of Crown Heights. But St. Matthew Church was here way before all of the traffic and buildings. It was founded in 1886.
This was an Irish parish way back in the day.
Father Frank Black has been the pastor here for 12 years and says now people from the Caribbean fill the pews, along with Hispanics, many of whom are newcomers to the country.
I just look at the Brooklyn Diocese and see how the church in the Brooklyn Diocese has been built up year after year by people coming in from other countries and bringing in their culture, their respect and their love for the faith.
People like Kevin Adamar, whose faith is on display all of the time, but especially when he portrays Jesus in the dramatization of the Stations of the Cross.
It's a nerve-wracking process. It's tiring. So to only imagine what Jesus actually went through, it's painful, but it's also a great way of remembering the sacrifice that was made for us.
Kevin was born in St. Lucia, but grew up in Brooklyn. His single mom raised him in this church, even though they never lived in Crown Heights.
So there was something there from the time I was young that already attracted me to the religion and faith. And as I got older and started to understand more about it, I realized that it is the thing that keeps me grounded. And I think that's the reason why I'm so connected to my faith and to my religion.
And he's still connected. On Good Friday and every other day of the year, Kevin is the head usher. And since his day job is in the finance industry, he's also the treasurer of St. Matthew's Group of Hope, the church's homeless ministry. Father Black says he's a great example for other young Catholics.
As he got more and more involved, he literally would reach out to younger men and women from the Mass and say, hey, you have to be part of this. You have to be active in your church. And he's become like a symbol for like a lot of them of the fact that, well, if he can do it, I can do it too.
While Kevin's church duties take up a lot of his time, if you ask him, it's time well spent.
It re-energizes me, right? So this is sort of my break from the office and the job. This gives me the energy that I need on Monday morning to go back and sit through 7 meetings and meet with all these clienteles. So yeah, I get to come here, I get to connect with friends, I get to connect with people that I saw grow up in this community, and it's just a phenomenal time to be in the church.
And now you know Kevin Adamar from St. Matthew's and how he makes up the Pulse of the Parish. As we've reported on Currents News, the pandemic had a big impact on St. Matthew's Church. Many families moved away and didn't come back. Kevin says he hopes he and others can get young people back in the pews and get them to be active in the church community. You too can walk with Jesus during this season of Eastertide, and the tablet is here to help you do just that. The paper looks ahead to Jesus' footsteps 40 days after the resurrection. The tablet marking his appearances to Mary Magdalene, the disciples, and Thomas, who doubted Jesus' resurrection until he was able to feel Christ's wounds. The paper is also helping those who are fighting cancer by talking with a Catholic leader who is also a cancer survivor. Auxiliary Bishop Emeritus Raymond Geppetto shared his battle in this week's issue. He describes the day he first got his diagnosis, his treatments, and how his community rallied around him. Bishop Geppetto says he continues to pray for those dealing with cancer. Be sure to pick up the paper this weekend at your local church to read these stories and more. You can also subscribe by going online at thetablet.org. You can join Bishop Geppetto in his prayers for cancer patients. The Diocese of Brooklyn is hosting a mass in honor of the feast of St. Peregrine, the patron saint of those afflicted with cancer. The mass will be on Wednesday night, May 1st at 7:30 p.m. at Sacred Heart of Jesus Church. That's at 215 25 38th Avenue in Queens. Brooklyn's Bishop Emeritus Nicholas DiMarzio will celebrate, and those attending can venerate a first-class relic, a bone fragment from St. Peregrine. Tuesday night, hundreds of people of faith focused on kids and teachers as the nonprofit Futures in Education held their biggest fundraiser for Catholic school scholarships. This year's annual gala raised more than $1.5 million, which will help pay tuition for some 3,000 students across the Diocese of Brooklyn. The event was held at Cipriani Wall Street and saw some 740 attendees donating or participating in auctions for Catholic education. For the first time, the gala also looked to the molders of those young minds, honoring around 50 longtime educators in Diocese of Brooklyn schools. One of them is Paul Mazza, who for almost 40 years has been setting a higher standard for his students. Currents News' Katie Vasquez spoke to him ahead of the fundraiser.
Parables, what are these parables, right? And what are parables?
In Paul Mazza's 6th, 7th, and 8th grade class, students know not to expect an easy A.
Stack of papers here, right?
The St. Joan of Arc teacher says he holds his students to the highest standards.
I have a reputation for being tough.
But just because Mr. Mazza is tough doesn't mean he isn't shaping these young minds for the better.
He helped me become more open about poetry, and now I'm able to express myself more freely.
For the last 38 years, Mr. Mazza has seen dozens of students come and go. And while some things may have changed for the former math teacher, now science teacher, the one thing he's always done is encourage his kids to try.
They're afraid of wrong answers, and with the science, hey, some of the best science guys came from wrong answers.
His perseverance for his pupils is why Mr. Mazza is one of the teachers being recognized at Futures in Education's upcoming gala. While the nonprofit for years has been putting the spotlight on kids and helping them attend Catholic schools across Brooklyn and Queens, this year they're turning their focus on the teachers, highlighting those who go above and beyond. St. Joan of Arc principal Agnes Mosaichuk says no one deserves it more than Mr. Mazza.
He inspires them to dream big, reach high, and work hard.
Mr. Mazza is honored by the recognition, but in the end says his job is about one thing.
I'm here for the kids. And what can I do for them? What do we need to get done?
Because he has seen the fruits of his work in his own classroom. Just ask 8th grader Brandon Novillo, whose dad also had Mr. Mazza.
To this day, he has stories about how Mr. Mazza was strict, but he also changed his life for the better.
Look what happened.
In Jackson Heights, Katie Vasquez, Currents News.
To learn more about how you can help make a Catholic education possible for thousands of students across Brooklyn and Queens, just visit futuresineducation.org. Finally tonight, a heartwarming moment captured on the streets of New York is now going viral. Millions of people have seen this video of a little girl running up to a pretzel cart man. Her mom says the vendor is often parked in front of her daughter's school, and the little girl loves to give him high fives as she walks by. Well, after spending a week away on vacation, she missed her favorite pretzel provider, and so this viral moment was born. So adorable. That is this Currents News Update. I'm Christine Persichetti. Thank you for joining us, because we are putting your faith in the news. Hope to see you again next time.